Ukrainians can vote at 4 polling stations located in Washington, D.C., Chicago, San Francisco, and in New York. More than 7,000 Ukrainians registered to vote just here in Washington. Also, there are 11,650 Ukrainians voting in New York City and more than 20,000 in San Francisco. The voting procedure overseas is basically similar to Ukrainian, but there are some differences, of course. For instance, you have to bring your foreign passport instead of a domestic one just to prove your identity. What's important that you can't just show up and vote. In order to participate in this election, Ukrainians in the US had to register to vote in advance. And in order to do that, you have to be placed on a consular register 1 week before casting the ballot. Some of Ukrainians have been complaining about the load of paperwork, but it seems like bureaucracy failed to discourage them from voting. From what I see on social media now in New York City, there seem to be lines at the Consulate General. In the last week, Voice of America conducted a number of interviews with Ukrainians registered to vote. They say they are eager to cast their ballot, even though they live overseas. People strongly believe they vote not just for a president, but for a better future for their motherland. Even though they understand they might barely affect the broader results of this election because of the smaller number of voters, but members of diaspora have learned a very fundamental American lesson. Every vote matters. That's why people are willing to travel hours to get to the polls to exercise their civil rights, and that means voting.